My girlfriend screamed, "I can't believe you actually left." After she told me to get out during a fight, I said, "You told me to leave." I listened. Then I stopped answering her calls. Her shock that I'd actually taken her seriously was my final answer. Original post I, 29 male, am writing this from a Holiday Inn Express that smells aggressively of lavender and old carpet. It's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure my relationship of 4 years just evaporated because I finally decided to follow instructions. Let's set the stage. I've been living with Qley, 27 female, for 2 years. I pay the rent, she pays the utilities and groceries. It seemed fair on paper, considering I make significantly more as a logistics coordinator, while she's a freelance social media consultant, which mostly means she scrolls TikTok and occasionally posts for a local boutique. Our dynamic has always been volatile. Qley loves the drama. She subscribes to that toxic idea that if you aren't fighting, you don't have passion. I, on the other hand, just want to come home, eat a decent meal, and maybe play an hour of Helldivers before passing out. The fight started over something stupid. It always does. This time, I didn't look excited enough about her best friend's gender reveal party next weekend. Apparently, my grunt of acknowledgement was a personal attack on her character. It escalated. We went from "you don't care about my friends" to "you don't care about me" to "you're wasting my prime years" in under 10 minutes. It's a script we've rehearsed a dozen times. Usually I apologize, I buy her flowers, we make up, rinse, repeat. But tonight was different. I had a headache the size of Texas, and I just wasn't engaging. I sat on the couch, staring at the TV, which infuriated her. She stood in front of the screen, arms crossed, doing that thing where she taps her foot, waiting for me to explode. "Are you even listening to me?" she shrieked. "I'm listening, Qley. I just don't agree that my lack of enthusiasm for pink or blue smoke makes me a sociopath." That was the trigger. She pointed at the door. The classic move. If you're going to be such a miserable drain on my energy, then get out. Just get out, Jason. I don't want you here. In the past, I would have said, "Babe, let's calm down," or "This is my apartment too." Tonight, something snapped. It wasn't anger. It was just exhaustion, pure unadulterated fatigue. "Okay," I said. I stood up, I walked to the bedroom. I grabbed my duffel bag. She followed me, still yelling. "Oh, now you're running away? Typical, you can't handle a real conversation." I packed 3 days of clothes, my toiletries, my laptop, my passport, habit. And crucially, I grabbed the spare key to my car and the folder from the filing cabinet that has my lease agreement and birth certificate. I walked back to the living room. She was standing there, hands on hips, smirk on her face. She thought this was part of the dance. She thought I was bluffing. "You're pathetic," she sneered. "Where are you gonna go? You have no friends who will put up with you." "You told me to leave," I said, putting on my shoes. "So I'm leaving." I opened the door. Her face changed. The smirk dropped. It wasn't regret yet, it was confusion. Like a dog watching a magic trick. "Wait," she said. "If you walk out that door, don't think you're coming back tonight." "I don't plan to." I closed the door. I heard it through the wood. "I can't believe you actually left. Jason, get back here." I took the elevator down, got in my car, drove 3 exits down the highway to this hotel. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb for everyone except my parents and my boss. Since I checked in 3 hours ago, I have 14 missed calls from her. 3 from her mom, and a text preview that says, "Stop being a baby and come home." I ordered Thai food. Here's the kicker though. I have a Ring doorbell camera. I installed it because packages kept getting swiped. I checked the feed about 20 minutes after I arrived at the hotel. At 9:45 p.m., maybe 30 minutes after I left, a car pulled up. A guy got out. It was Justin. Justin is the guy she told me not to worry about. The guy from her gym who is just super friendly and needs advice on his career. She opened the door for him. She was wearing my oversized hoodie. She was smiling. She handed him a beer before the door even closed. She kicked me out because she wanted the apartment empty. The fight was manufactured. The passion was a smokescreen. I'm not sad. I'm not even really angry yet. I'm just done. I have the lease in my hand. It's in my name. She's listed as an occupant, not a lessee. I called the landlord's emergency line and left a voicemail saying I wouldn't be in the unit for a few days, but to call me if there were any noise complaints. Now I'm going to sleep. Tomorrow, I start the eviction of my life. Update 1. 2 days later. The adrenaline has worn off, and now we are in the cold hard logistics phase of the breakup. And let me tell you, the entitlement is staggering. I stayed at the hotel until checkout the next morning, then went to work. I function better when I'm busy. At 10 a.m., the do not disturb wall crumbled. I decided to check the damage. Texts from Qley. Last night, stop ignoring me. It's not funny. Last night, Justin came over to comfort me because I was crying. You're lucky I have friends who actually care. This morning, 7 a.m. Where are you? I need the car to get to my lash appointment. You took the spare tea? This morning, 9:30 a.m. Jason, pick up. The internet is down. I almost laughed out loud in the break room. The internet wasn't down. I had just changed the password remotely via the ISP app. Petty? Maybe, but the bill is in my name, and I wasn't about to let Justin stream Netflix on my dime while I paid for hotel Wi-Fi. I didn't reply. Instead, I called my landlord, Derek. Derek is a 60-year-old retired Marine who tolerates zero nonsense. We have a good relationship because I pay early and fix my own leaky faucets. Derek, hey, it's Jason in 4B. Listen, Qley and I are done. I'm currently not in the unit. She's still there. I need to know my options for removing an occupant. Derek grunted. She on the lease? Listed as occupant. I'm the leaseholder. State law says if she's been there more than 30 days, she's a tenant at will. You gotta give her 30 days written notice to vacate, unless she does something to violate the lease terms. Like what? Damage, illegal activity, unauthorized long-term guests, noise complaints. Okay, thanks, Derek. I went back to work. At lunch, I finally texted her back. I'm not coming back, we're over. I saw Justin come over 20 minutes after I left. Don't bother lying. You have 30 days to move out. I'll be sending formal notice via email and certified mail. Her response was immediate. Qley, LMAO, you're joking, right? You can't kick me out. This is my home. And Justin is just a friend. You're being paranoid and abusive. Come home, apologize, and maybe I'll forgive you for abandoning me. She really thought she still held the cards. She thought this was just another episode she could manage. That evening, I went to stay with my buddy Mike. Mike is an attorney, not in family law. He does corporate contract stuff, but he knows enough to be dangerous. We were sitting on his patio having a beer when my phone pinged. Bank of America fraud alert. Attempted charge, $450 Bliss Spa and Salon. Authorization, decline? I hit decline so hard I almost cracked my screen. She tried to use the emergency credit card I kept in the kitchen drawer. The one I told her was strictly for house emergencies, like a burst pipe or a broken furnace. Apparently, a balayage is an emergency. 5 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Qley. I let it go to voicemail. Then a text, why is the card not working? I'm at the counter and it's embarrassing. Fix it. I replied, that card is for emergencies. Hair dye isn't an emergency. Use your own money. I don't have $450 right now. My freelance check hasn't cleared. You always pay for this. This is financial abuse. We aren't together. I don't pay for your life anymore. Ask Justin. That set off a bomb. She started blowing up my phone with threats. She was going to tell everyone I was controlling. She was going to tell my boss I was harassing her. She was going to destroy my gaming setup. Mike looked at the texts. Dude, if she threatens property damage, you need to get in there with a police escort to retrieve your valuables. Now. So yesterday morning, that's what I did. I called the non-emergency line, explained I was the leaseholder, leaving a domestic situation, and needed a civil standby to retrieve expensive equipment because of documented threats. They met me at the apartment at 11 a.m. I unlocked the door. The smell hit me first. Stale beer and weed. The lease has a strict no-smoking policy. Qley was on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. Justin was in the kitchen, wearing my robe, making coffee with my espresso machine. When the two uniformed officers walked in behind me, Qley jumped up like she'd been tasered. What is this, Jason? You called the cops? Just here to get my stuff, ma'am, the officer said calmly. Keep it civil. Justin looked terrified. He tried to shuffle past us to the bedroom. Hey, I said to him. Take off the robe. What? He squeaked. The robe, it's mine. Take it off. He looked at the cop. The cop shrugged. It's his property, son. Justin literally took off the robe right there in the kitchen, standing in his boxers, and handed it to me. It was humiliating for him, and I admit, I enjoyed it. I went to the office. My gaming PC, monitors, and the PS5 were still there. I packed them up. I took my clothes. I took the expensive whiskey collection. I took the Dyson vacuum. I paid for it. Qley followed me around, screaming the whole time. "You can't take the vacuum. How am I supposed to clean?" "Not my problem." "You're taking the TV from the bedroom? That's cruel." "I bought it in 2019. Before I met you, check the receipt." I left them with the couch. Her parents bought it, the bed, and the kitchen stuff. As I was leaving, I handed her a large envelope. "What's this?" she snapped. 30-day notice to vacate. Derek has a copy. Timer starts today. She threw the envelope at my head. It missed. "I'm not leaving," she shrieked. "I have rights. I'll squat. You'll have to drag me out." "We'll see," I said. I walked out. But here's the twist I didn't expect. As I was loading my car, Derek, the landlord, walked up. He had a grim look on his face. "Jason," he said, "I got complaints last night. Loud music, weed smell in the hallway. Mrs. Higgins in 4A said there were people coming in and out all night." "I wasn't there, Derek. I was at a hotel." I showed him the receipt on my phone. "I believe you," he said. "But she is your guest, your responsibility. She's refusing to leave." Derek cracked his knuckles. "Lease says no smoking. Lease says no guests for more than 3 days without approval. Lease says no noise violations." He looked up at my balcony. "If I smell smoke one more time, I'm not evicting her. I'm evicting you for lease violation. And since she's an occupant, she goes down with the ship. Only difference is, an eviction on your record ruins your credit. An eviction on hers, well, she doesn't have credit anyway, does she?" It was a threat, but it gave me an idea. "Derek, if I surrender the apartment, if I break the lease and pay the penalty, does that force her out immediately?" He chewed his lip. "Technically. If the lease ends, her right to occupy ends. If she stays, she's trespassing. But you'd be on the hook for the break fee. 2 months' rent. 2 months' rent is $3,600, a lot of money. But the look on Justin's face when I took my robe back? Priceless." I told Derek, "Give me 24 hours to think about it." I went back to Mike's place. Qley posted a photo on Instagram an hour ago. It's a selfie of her and Justin holding glasses of wine. Caption: "Real love sticks around when things get tough. Thankful for my rock. Stash new beginnings. Toxic free." She's drinking my $80 Cabernet. I think I'm going to call Derek in the morning. Update 2. 5 days later. Things have escalated from messy breakup to legal warfare. And honestly, I'm here for it. After seeing that Instagram post, I made the decision. I wasn't going to wait 30 days for her to trash my apartment, smoke weed in it, and play house with Justin while I paid the rent. I called Derek the next morning. "I'm terminating the lease," I said. "I'll pay the 2-month break fee. When can we execute this?" Derek, bless his heart, was ready. "I can have the paperwork ready by noon. Since you've already vacated, we just need to do a walkthrough. But since she is still there, it's tricky. What if I explicitly surrender possession to you? Tell you I've moved out and anyone remaining is a squatter." "It's a gray area," Derek admitted. "But here's the thing. I did a surprise inspection of the HVAC filters this morning. Standard maintenance. She wouldn't let me in. Claimed she was indisposed. That's a violation of the lease right there. Refusal of entry for maintenance." So, I posted a 7-day notice to cure or quit on the door. For the smoking and the refusal of entry, she has 7 days to fix the violation or leave. If she doesn't, I file for eviction on day 8. "She won't leave," I said. "I know," Derek chuckled. "But here's the fun part. Since you are voluntarily terminating and paying the fee, I'm removing your name from the eviction suit if it comes to that. I'll file against Jane Doe and all occupants. You get out clean, she gets the sheriff at the door." I went to the bank, got a cashier's check for $3,600, handed it to Derek. I sent Qley a text. "Heads up. I terminated the lease. I paid the penalty. The apartment goes back to the landlord in 7 days. You need to be out." She called me immediately. I answered this time, putting it on speaker for Mike to hear. "You can't do that," she screamed. She sounded hysterical. "You can't just end the lease. Where am I supposed to go?" "You have a rock, don't you?" I said. "Go stay with Justin. Justin lives in a studio with 3 roommates. He can't take me." "Not my problem, Qley. You told me to get out. I got out, and I took my lease with me." "I'm not leaving," she yelled. "I have tenants' rights. My mom spoke to a lawyer. Your mom's divorce lawyer from 1998 doesn't count. Good luck, Qley. I hung up. Then the harassment started. Her mom, Linda, called me. Linda is a piece of work. She's the one who taught Qley that men are utility objects. Jason, you are being incredibly immature, Linda lectured. You are putting a young woman on the street. A man provides. A man protects. You are acting like a child. Linda, I said, your daughter is sleeping with another guy in the apartment I pay for. If you're so concerned, she can move into your guest room. We are renovating the guest room right now, she stammered. Right, of course you are. 2 days passed. I got an email from Amazon. Order confirmation. Sony 65-inch OLED TV, $1,800, shipping to old apartment address, payment method Visa ending in. She had access to my Amazon account on the smart TV I left behind. She tried to order a replacement for the TV I took, using my stored card. This was the mistake I was waiting for. Attempted credit card fraud. I canceled the order immediately. Then I changed the Amazon password. Then I called the non-emergency line again. I'd like to file a report for attempted identity theft and credit card fraud. I have the logs, I have the IP address, thanks Amazon support. I didn't press charges yet, I just wanted the report number. I texted the report number to Qley. Nice try ordering the TV. Police report number 24-0981. Attempted credit card fraud is a felony. Leave the apartment by Sunday or I hand this over to the detective. Radio silence for 6 hours. Then a text from Justin. Bro, come on. She's freaking out. You're scaring her. Can't we work something out? She just needs a month to find a place. The audacity of this guy. You're wearing my robe and drinking my wine, Justin? You don't get a vote. Get her out or I press charges for the fraud. And Derek files for eviction on Monday. Tick-tock. Yesterday was Sunday, the deadline. I drove by the apartment complex and parked across the street, just to watch. At 4 p.m., I saw a U-Haul pull up. It wasn't professional movers. It was Justin and 2 guys who looked like they'd rather be undergoing root canals. They started hauling boxes. Qley came out carrying a lamp, my lamp actually, but I let it slide. She looked miserable. She wasn't wearing makeup. She was yelling at Justin to be careful with her shoe collection. They loaded the truck. It took 3 hours. At 7 p.m., the truck drove off. I walked over to the building. Derek met me in the lobby. She gone? Looks like it. We went up to the unit. It was a disaster. Trash everywhere. Wine stains on the beige carpet. The wall behind where my desk used to be had a hole in it, like someone had thrown a heavy object. And the smell. It smelled like a frat house that hadn't been cleaned in a decade. Security deposit is gone, Derek said, taking photos. Cleaning fee, carpet replacement, drywall repair. Keep it, I said. Worth it. But then I saw it. On the kitchen counter, a stack of envelopes. My mail. She had opened it. One of them was a letter from the IRS. Another was a medical bill. Opening someone else's mail is a federal crime. And right next to it, the spare key to my car, which she swore she lost. And, I kid you not, a note written on a paper towel in Sharpie. You're a small petty man. I hope you die alone. P.S. I took the ice cube trays. She took the ice cube trays. Who steals ice cube trays? I took a picture of the note. Derek, I said, send me the bill for whatever the deposit doesn't cover. I'll pay it. You sure? You can sue her for half. I have a better idea. I have the police report for the credit card attempt. I have the evidence of mail tampering. And I have the photos of the damages. I'm not suing her for the money. She has no money. I'm going to file a small claims case for the damages solely so it hits the public record. And I'm going to report the fraud to the credit bureaus. Because here's the thing about entitlement. It relies on the victim staying silent to avoid drama. I'm done avoiding drama. I'm going to officiate it. Update 3. The fallout, final update. It's been 3 weeks since the great ice cube tray heist. I am currently settled into a new apartment. It's smaller, lacks a balcony, but it has one major feature my old place didn't. Peace. Here's how the dominoes fell. The financial wreckage. Derek sent me the final itemized bill. The security deposit, $1,500, was wiped out. The total damages plus the lease break fee came to roughly $5,200. I paid it. It hurt my savings account, but I considered it a freedom tax. However, I didn't let Qley off the hook. I filed a suit in small claims court for $2,600, her half of the damages/break fee. I sent the summons to her parents' house where I knew she was crashing. I didn't hire a lawyer. I just organized my evidence binder. The lease, listing her as occupant, the text messages acknowledging she wouldn't leave, the photos of the damage, and the receipts. She didn't show up to the hearing last Tuesday. Default judgment in my favor, $2,600 plus court costs. Now, collecting that money from her is like trying to squeeze blood from a stone. I know she doesn't have it, but the judgment is now on her record. Good luck renting a decent apartment in this city with a civil judgment from a former landlord situation on your background check. The relationship. The rock, Justin, apparently crumbled under pressure. I found this out from a mutual friend who is still on Kayla's private Snapchat story. Apparently, living with Justin in a studio apartment with 3 roommates wasn't the vibe Qley was looking for. She posted a rant about boys who pretend to be men and needing a partner who can provide stability. She's back living with Linda, her mom. Linda, by the way, tried to call me one last time to mediate. Jason, she's depressed. She's sleeping all day. You need to fix this. You broke her. I said, Linda, she tried to commit credit card fraud on my account. If you call me again, I'm pressing charges for that and the mail theft. Do not contact me. She hasn't called since. The career hit. Remember how she's a social media consultant? Well, entitlement has a way of bleeding into professional life. Apparently, during her meltdown week, she missed a deadline for her only major client, the boutique. When they fired her, she went on the boutique's Instagram page, which she still had access to, and posted a rant about how they were toxic and cheap. The owner of the boutique is friends with my boss's wife. Small world. The boutique owner threatened to sue her for defamation. Qley had to issue a public apology video. I watched it. It was the fakest, most filter-heavy crying video I've ever seen. Her reputation in the local freelance market is toast. The closure yesterday, I went to the gym. I usually go at 6 a.m. to avoid people, but I slept in, so I went at 5 p.m. I walked in and saw Justin. He was spotting some guy on the bench press. He saw me. He froze. I didn't say anything. I didn't try to intimidate him. I just walked past him to the water fountain, wearing my hoodie, which I retrieved from the laundry pile she left behind. He literally packed up his bag and left the gym 5 minutes later. He knows. He knows he was a pawn, and he knows he backed the wrong horse. The epilogue. I'm not hiking the Appalachian Trail. I'm not dating a supermodel. I'm sitting on my IKEA couch, eating takeout tacos. But last night, I realized something. I left a glass of water on the coffee table before I went to bed. When I woke up, it was still there. Nobody yelled at me for leaving a ring on the table. Nobody asked me why I didn't put it in the dishwasher immediately. Nobody told me I was disrespecting the space. The silence in my apartment isn't lonely. It's luxurious. Qley texted me one last time 3 days ago. Qley, I miss the dog. Can I come see him? We don't have a dog. We never had a dog. She was fishing, trying to find any thread to pull to get me to engage. I blocked the number. She told me to leave. I listened. It was the best decision I ever made. To anyone reading this who is walking on eggshells in their own home, the door works both ways. Use it.